Hey guys, I just wanted to do a video which is an explanation to a comment I got on social media yesterday when I posted the GDSR phone call video. Anyway, so after posting the GDSR video yesterday on social media, the phone call one, had a guy make a comment and he goes, "This guy tried to buy my clubby. I'm the only owner. He was trying to tell me it was in an accident. I laughed at him and sent him on his way and he was lowballing me and all this sort of stuff." Not a factual story, so I just thought I'd tell it just for a bit of fun. What actually happened, so in early April, this guy hit me up and he goes, "I got a VS Series 1 clubby, red, manual, 22,000 Ks, Walkinshaw 497 kit. All sounds good, no sunroof, but not the end of the world." I said, "Yeah, sweet." He goes, "What will you give me?" I said, "I'll give you 70 grand for that," which I think is excellent money. From a dealer for a Series 1 clubby, it's good money. And red's a little bit hard work, so, I thought it was fair. He obviously thought it was fair because he messaged me saying, "All right, cool, what are the next steps?" So I said, "I organise an inspection, I get the car checked out, and we go from there." Anyway, so we go through the motions, I get the car inspected. The inspector rings me and he goes, "Andy, the car presents well." He goes, "It's a nice car to look at, drives perfect." He goes, "But I've got a question mark on it because more than half the car's been painted. And the rear quarter has bog in it." Anyway, I was like, I don't know. I said, "How do you know?" And I use a paint depth gauge when I look at cars, in Melbourne. But if they're interstate, I get the inspectors to use a paint depth gauge just so we know what's going on. Anyway, just for your reference, a standard VF generally reads from 130 to 170 microns on the gauge. The rear quarter was reading 480. I've never even heard of a reading that high. 480 on the rear quarter. Rest of the car was around 250. There was a few panels that were original. Anyway, look, it's not the end of the world. I understand that. Some people won't care. They'll just be like, "Oh, cool, it's a low-K clubby." And it's still a nice car. Don't get me wrong. But for me, I was thinking about it and I wasn't too sure. And my main hesitation was if I'm selling a car that I know has bog in it, and as far as I know, I've never bought anything with bog in it, I'd want to tell the person buying it, and obviously that's going to affect the price. So I did the inspection, I told him what I thought, and I said, "Let me just have a think." Anyway, he keeps asking, "What are we doing? Are you buying it?" I'm like, "I don't know, I'm still thinking." I couldn't decide. Anyway, I went back to him, I said, "Listen, if we can do it for 65 grand, I'll do it. Otherwise, I'm out." Anyway, he goes, "Nah, too low, I'm not going to do it." Anyway, that's fine. Anyway, I think he might have messaged one more time, and I just let it go. I just said I'm still thinking about it, but I had a few other options that were better, so I went with the other cars. Anyway, 9 days later, he messages me saying, "Oh, someone else bought it." Cool, that's good. I was glad that he sold the car. That's what he wanted to do. So I didn't like that he went on social media and made a comment that wasn't true, but it is what it is. To his credit, he was great to deal with, and I genuinely believe he didn't know what happened. He seemed shocked when I told him, and even the inspector said he seemed like a genuine guy, so yeah, I would assume something's happened pre-delivery. Unfortunately, that happens, but it happens a lot. And whatever's gone on has resulted in the car being painted and bog being in the quarter. But just for me, if I was going to buy something like that, obviously it has to be reflected in the price, and I'm going to price the car aggressively because of the issue. And I know there are a lot of people out there that they're going to be like, "Oh, who cares? It's a 22,000 K supercharged manual clubby." But for me, I was just, I'd rather just, stick to something that I know is all good and hasn't had any issues.